There's this controversial discussion about religion, our Shona culture, and everything about the spirit mediums. So everyone says now, is our Shona culture demonic? It's a big no. Is our Christian religion holy? It's another big no. What happens is when we are talking about the Shona culture, we will be looking at the corruption associated with it. When we are looking at Christianity, we are also looking at the corruption around it. In the beginning, when Jesus had died, the disciples had been left behind. There was the Jews who had their own culture. Then there was the Gentiles who were not part of the culture of the Jews. So it so happened now that the Jews didn't want to accept that the Gentiles could serve Christ outside the Jewish culture. So this was the birth of Judaism, and this was the birth of Christianity on the other side. So the same now comes now. So if we have been allowed to worship Christ in our culture, then means culture is not bad. But what is culture? Culture is how we behave. Culture is how we marry. Culture is to do about all the rites and rituals that we do. And by the way, ritual is not an evil word. It's something that is done in a spiritual manner. So what am I talking about? I'm saying when we are approaching the African culture, let's separate it from worship. Our culture is good. Our culture says we should greet our elders. Our culture says we should respect our elders. Our culture says we should marry the women before they get married. They should take care of themselves. Make sure they get married when they're virgins. That's our culture. Our culture tells us to honor our parents. But now, what happens now is, our culture actually says, when you get a job, the first salary you give to your parents. It's the same rule in the Bible about the first fruits, that whatever you give birth to first, it's not yours. It's the same thing in the church. What is wrong is when we approach the spirit life, where we appease spirit mediums. If you are deep in Shona, you would realize that there are people who have appeased what they thought was an ancestor. Then they realize it is an avenging spirit. So now when they say now, in Shona the actual says, so this spirit now continues to torment the family. So something has already been mixed up there. It's the same now. In church, there are certain things we're calling Holy Spirit, which are not even holy. Where people have visited sangomas, where people have visited various spirit mediums to access into the spiritual realm. So being on the pulpit does not mean it is holy. Being on the African culture does not mean unholy. What is unholy is what you're pursuing. When we worship the dead, it's bad. It's worshiping the spirit of the dead. But when we honor our family line, it's good. My name is Owen Chihuahua, and I know my father, I know my grandfather, I know my great-grandfather. Those people were not evil while it's on earth. So I respect them, because that's where I come from. But I don't worship them. I don't worship them. So when we are saying the God of Abraham, the God of Jacob, we are not worshiping Abraham. We are just saying the God they worshipped. They were respecting their forefathers. That is their forefathers that gave them the direction of how they were praying. So if our parents were not worshiping Jehovah, who is in heaven, then we cannot align with their God. That's the difference. So we are not denying them. We are not condemning them. But we want to point out the right God. We want to worship through the right spirit, the uncontaminated spirit. That's why it's holy. It's a set-apart spirit. It's not associated with anyone. It's not associated with anything of this world. Holy means set apart. So we worship a holy God through a Holy Spirit in a holy manner, so that we become holy ourselves. Thank you so much. God bless you.